Hey everyone, Sean here. Welcome back to the free step-by-step publishing course. In this video, I want to talk about how to add additional income using audiobooks. So once your book is live on Amazon, it's time to create the audiobook version. Adding an audiobook version will add another source of income, and it can be very profitable. So you have two options in terms of you can do a royalty share or paying for production. So when you do a royalty share, the production cost is free, but you will have to pay half of the royalties you make for life to the narrator. If you have the money, I always recommend to go with paying upfront, because in the long run, this can end up to thousands of dollars that you'll be losing if you do a royalty share option, especially if your book does really well on audio. You'll be losing thousands and thousands of dollars just by giving out half of the royalties to the narrator. So it's better to pay just a few $100s upfront as a per finished hour deal and keep all the royalties that you make. So when do you want to do a royalty share? If you know that the book will not do well as an audio, for example like cookbooks, in this case I would do a royalty share just so I can get a free audiobook made and make something, as in like make a few extra dollars from the audiobook side. But 99% of the time, you should pay per finished hour. Even topics like diet books, coding books, etc. that you think wouldn't do as well on audio, they actually sell pretty well. As long as it's not a recipe cookbook where it's very image heavy. So the recommended per finished hour rate is $50 per finished hour. Most people accept this rate, and you'll be able to find good narrators from my personal experience and from many others as well. And this is at the time of the recording. If there's more demand for audiobook narrators, of course they will start raising their prices, but I never had any problem hiring really good high quality narrators at $50 per finished hour. Anything lower than this though will make it much harder to find a narrator. At the same time, I do not see a need to pay more than $50 PFH at the moment. Just keep in mind, you're not paying $50 per hour, it's per finished hour. So if your book is 30,000 words long, it takes the narrator about 3 hours to 3.5 hours to narrate it. You're only paying $50 per the completed audiobook length. So if the book comes out to 3 hours, that'll be 3 hours times the $50 that you agreed on, meaning you're paying $150 total. So it's not bad at all. Now I want to go over the royalties real quick because it's actually pretty confusing to calculate ACX royalties. There's different factors, and first there's exclusive versus non-exclusive. So if you select exclusive option on ACX and paid upfront, real quick, exclusive means you're not distributing your audiobook to any other stores except for Audible. If you go non-exclusive, you can upload your book to other channels. You can also do audiobooks, you can also do ACX and Audible, but then you can also go to like Hoopla and other channels as well. So the first option you can do is if you select exclusive to ACX and you also paid upfront, you get 40% of the sale. If you're non-exclusive but you paid upfront, you get 25%. If you're exclusive but did a royalty share, you and the narrator split 20%, right? So it gets very confusing because of this. And on top of that, there's three different types of sales as well. So if you look at this page from ACX support, there's AL, ALOP, and ALC, which is different ways people can purchase your book, and depending on how they purchase the book between these three, your royalty amount also changes as well. And on top of that, there is also the different royalties depending on the pricing of the book, right? So this is from, again, ACX. And with ACX and audiobooks, they actually price the book depending on the length of the audio. So you don't get to decide how much you want to sell your book for. It's all based on ACX. So this is the pricing chart that they have. So because of these factors, it gets very confusing, right? But I try to make it simple for you. I calculated my average royalties per sale for each book length from my personal experience. Although it's not 100% accurate, it's pretty close, and you can use it as a guideline. So what I did basically is, I've been publishing on ACX for a couple years now, and every single month, when I get paid, right, depending on the length of the book, I get the average royalties that are paid, and I've been using that number to calculate my future royalties, and it's pretty accurate, although a lot of times it's a little lower than what I actually get paid, which is good, because you're expecting a certain amount and you're always getting paid more than that. So I'm pretty happy, but it is pretty accurate. So this is the number right here. So as you can see, ACX, gives you this number on the left, which is, it's not specific, right? So if the audiobook is under 1 hour, they say it'll be priced under $7. If the audiobook is between 1 to 3 hours, they say it's between $7 to $10. However, from my experience, it is always the number on the left or a number on the right, meaning it's never between $7 to $10. Okay, if the book is between 1 to 3 hours, it's pretty much always 100% of the time it's priced as $6.95. ACX says if the book is between 3 to 5 hours, the price will be between $10 to $20, but again, it's not the case. It's always $14.95, so it's never like $16.95 or $18.95. No, it's always $14.95. Again, this is from my experience, but I've been publishing for a couple years, and 100% of the time it's been this case. Okay, so it keeps going, as you can see here, and this is my numbers on the right. Use it as a guideline. It's not 100% accurate, but it's pretty accurate. So if your book is under 1 hour, it'll be priced at $3.95 and you get around 90 cents in royalties. 1 to 3 hours, priced at $6.95, 1.9 royalties. So I'm not going to go over all of it, but this is the numbers that you can base it on. A quick note is you want to make sure your book goes over the minimum length for each price point. You never want to accept the book that's 2 hours and 59 minutes long, because I've seen books like these and it's priced at $6.95. One more minute, if you just added one more minute to the book, it could have been priced at $14.95 and you get the higher royalties. So going back at this, right? When they say between 3 to 5 hours, that means your book must clear the 3 hour mark, right? So if it's 2 hours and 59 cents, you're still at the $6.95 and $1.9 royalties. But once you clear the 3 hour mark, so 3 hours and 1 second, you go over to this mark here. So if you're trying to be, really cost efficient, right, then you don't really want to make like a 20,000 word book or a 25,000 word book, because oftentimes when you change that into an audiobook, it lands around, if 20,000 word book is like 2 hours and 20 minutes or something like that, and 25,000 word book is like 2 hours and 50 minutes, depending on how fast a narrator reads it, of course, but it really can land very close to 3 hours, but not enough. And that'll suck, because you're paying per finished hour, meaning you're paying for pretty much 3 hours of work. However, you're getting the $6.95 royalties. So that's something that definitely, you want to consider. And that is why 30,000 word books are, from my experience, the most efficient. So the bundle rules with ACX is you can bundle audiobooks too, but you can only use the book once in a bundle. So you cannot create multiple bundle combinations from the same book. What I recommend to do is to bundle 3 of your 30,000 word books and go over 10 hours. Again, you want to make sure it goes over 10 hours, but I think this is the most efficient way to doing it, is to have your single books be 30,000 words, and then you would bundle 3 of them and make it over 10 hours. Because a lot of times, if your book is 30,000 word long, once you narrate it, it comes out to like 3 hours and 20 minutes or 3 hours and 30 minutes. Again, it all depends on how fast the narrator reads it, but it's about 3.5 hours average, I would say. So if you get 3 of those, you can go over the 10-hour mark. So I just want to show you a quick walkthrough of the ACX website. It'll be super quick. I'm not going to go into like exactly how to upload it, because it's very simple. It's very, you can just follow the ACX, steps to do it. But you just sign up to acx.com. It's the same login and password with your KDP account. Then you just go to add your title, find your title, click on I'm looking for someone to narrate my book because that's what you're looking for. If you have the audiobook files, then you will say I already have the audiobook files, but you don't. So you'll be clicking on I'm looking for someone to narrate my audiobook. So once you click on the book, you just kind of follow the steps. It's very simple. You're just entering basic information. And then you post the job. Once it's posted, you're going to start receiving auditions, which you can view here. You may not get a lot, depending on how much the bid is, which is the per finished hour. So if you bid between $50 to $100 per finished hour, you may not get a lot of auditions, although I think you'll get quite a bit, honestly. But if you don't get the amount of auditions that you want, or maybe the audition isn't really what you're looking for, as in the narrators, right? The people who audition isn't really the type of voice that you're looking for, you can always go to search here and producers for hire, and start finding people. You can filter it on the left, and you can just send them a message and listen to their samples and whatnot. So you can send them a message. If you guys agree with the terms, you can send them an offer from here too and start working with them. So that's what I would recommend, and that's just a quick walkthrough of the ACX site. Now, a big question I get is, what if you're in the non-approved country? Because ACX currently is only open to residents of the United States, UK, Canada, and Ireland. So if you don't live in these countries, what you need is a valid mailing address, valid local tax payer identification number, and banking details for one of these 4 countries, which you can get around to it, right, by opening up a company like a LLC or a C Corp, I believe, in these. And a lot of people have done this. I personally live in the US, so I don't know how to do it exactly. But my friend Juan Bourne has a Facebook group that also has a free training on how to do this for international publishers. So I'll leave a link to the Facebook group so you can join and you can go through his training and exactly find out how to set this up properly. So besides that, the other option will be to start publishing straight to Final Way Voices or Authors Republic. These are the aggregate channels for audiobooks, just like Drafted Digital or Ingram Spark, which is for ebooks and paperbacks. However, I prefer you do option 2, which is creating a corporation, just like I mentioned before, because ACX is just much more profitable than Final Way Voices or Authors Republic. So I would recommend just going ACX first. And if you really can't do that, if you really can't set up a company, which you should be able to because the free training really goes through all of it, but then you can go and publish on Final Way Voices if you want to. Now let's talk about marketing your audiobook, because a lot of people ask about this, and to be honest, there's not much you can do. So you should always focus on making money as Kindle and paperback as well. Unless the book is very audio specific, like guided meditation or something like that. You should always focus on making money as a Kindle book and also a paperback book as well, unless the book topic is very audio specific and it really doesn't apply to ebook or paperback. I always recommend to try and make money from 3 different platforms. A lot of people try and publish just for ACX, which I think it doesn't make sense. At the same time, a lot of people who do this was publishing just because the ACX promo code loophole, right? We used to get 100 codes per book, and every time you redeem it, somehow we got paid, which is very strange, but we did. And everybody was just pumping out the shittiest books just so that they can redeem the promo code and make money that way. So those people just ignored ebook and paperback, but I think that is a very scammy way of doing things. It destroyed the promo code. Obviously ACX took it away, ruined it for everybody, the entire publishing industry. So don't do that. And yeah, audiobook is great, but it's much harder to control the sales than Amazon. Why is that? Because the marketing you can do for audiobooks are very limited compared to like ebooks and paperback, where you can run AMS ads. There is no ads for audiobooks unless you run Facebook ads or those kind of ads to your audiobook. But realistically, how easy it is, it's going to be very, very hard. Facebook ad cost is pretty high. Audiobook royalties are very low. I mean, it's not like you're selling $1,000 course on Facebook. You know, if you think about it, right? If you sell $1,000 course and your profit margin is $1,000, you can spend theoretically $999 to get a customer, and you can still profit $1, right? But with ACX, with the average royalty of a 3-hour book being $6.95, you have to get a sale with less than $6.95. If you spend $7, you're losing money. So it's very hard to get leads unless you have a huge following and a big series of books that people can buy and continuously buy your other books in the series, and you can make money in the back end like that. I think Facebook ads is very, very tricky. So what you can do to market your book, just like Amazon, sales and reviews seems to determine the ranking of the book on Audible. So what you want to do is once your book is live, you want to pass out the 25 US and 25 UK promo codes as fast as possible and get as many reviews as you can from them. So we don't get 100 promo codes now because of the change, but we get 25 each. Now you can pass it on to your friends, family. ACX allows this, and you can also join relevant Facebook groups, as I talked about it, in the videos before, and how to get reviews for your Kindle books, right? And you can do the same thing. You can pass out the codes in those groups as well. You can try to get additional sales via your followers and email list if you have those. And the third option is you can try running Facebook ads, but again, I would only do this if your book is part of a big series or your book is priced high, because that allows you to spend more and still recoup your investments. If it's just a one-off book, it's going to be pretty tough. Number 4 is run AMS ads to your book on Amazon, which is the ebook or the paperback version, and hope some of them will buy the audio version from there, which is, not very unlikely, but it's pretty rare. And you have zero control over how many people you refer will go over to ACX. So again, it's not something that, you should always be running AMS ads to your book anyway, so it's just going to be something extra if you get the audiobook sales, but it's not something you can control. So another option you have is this site right here, Audiobook Boom. So Audiobook Boom, they have 2 different ones. So this one is the new one, free audiobook codes. You pay them a flat fee and they just list your book on their website, and you just upload the codes and people can come in and just download the codes as well. They're encouraged to leave a review, but they don't have to, obviously. This is all based on, they actually made the website back when we were getting paid for code redemption, so it made a lot of sense to do this. But now we're not getting paid for code redemption, and the amount of reviews you get is very low, but it's still a way to pass out your codes effectively. The other option is Audiobook Boom. So with this one, they have an email list of people who likes to listen to audiobooks. So it's just like book promo sites, but for audiobooks. You basically send them your book and the codes, and also you just pay them an upfront fee for them to promote your book in their email list. Now these people can be critical, but they are encouraged to leave a review as well. So if your book is good, you don't have to worry about them being critical, because as long as your book is good, you will get reviews from that. So it's definitely an option. So you can definitely try those sites, but I'd rather pass out the codes to my email list, followers, or simply to my friends and family. Again, because ACX review criteria is more relaxed than Amazon. It's very, very relaxed because they actually allow you to get reviews from friends and family or swap reviews with other authors. So you can give the codes to your author friends or publishing friend, and then they can review it, and you can do the same with them. It's actually encouraged by ACX, unlike with KDP, that's a huge no-no, right? So that's probably the easiest way to get reviews and also get downloads from the codes. So that's what I would do. Alright, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. So the action step is to go and create your audiobook, get it narrated, upload it on ACX, and once it's live, give out the promo codes and do your best in terms of marketing the book. So hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And if you haven't yet, go watch the entire free step-by-step publishing course. I'll leave a link in the description, and I'll see you guys on the next one.